Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with SwiftCover.com. For car insurance, don't wait in line, go online. Get a life. Get Swift Covered.
Absolute Radio.
So, it's the Frank Skinner podcast on Absolute Radio. It's not on Absolute Radio, obviously it's on the internet. And I'm with Emily and Gareth as ever.
Hello.
And we had Gaby Roslin on today, and she was talking about her new show where celebrities go and buy another house. I never mentioned that perhaps in the current climate it was an insensitive programme, but I didn't think that was a nice thing to say. But she was very lovely, Gaby.
She was. She didn't think David Guest was weird looking, though.
No, but I think that's good, because she's worked with him. You know, if people ask me if one or both of you are weird looking, I always say no. In that way where they think, well, that's loyalty, isn't it? That's not honesty, that's loyalty. But loyalty and honesty are both good virtues. I've always thought that. Yeah, so there's that, and there's loads of brilliant music which isn't in the podcast.
On the subject of honesty, we talked about lying, didn't we, as well?
We did, yes. We got people to send in their... I don't know why we do this bit, because isn't it easy to just listen to it?
Yeah.
And then you know what's in it. We come on and we say, this is in it, and then they listen to it. I think we should stop doing the introduction. Why do people do introductions to podcasts?
Well, there's what a presenter does. They say this is about to happen. Say what's going to happen, let it happen, say what happened.
Yeah, I like an element of surprise. I think next week we should completely lie about what's in the programme. We should say that the guest is Kofi Annan. And
is he not going to come in now?
Well, apparently he's pulled.
Oh,
I know.
An idiot.
It is. Kofi and his nan have both pulled out, which is a blow. So, anyway, it's good, though. People have texted me saying that was great.
Oh, great.
Oh, that's good.
Here it is.
Liars.
Here it is.
Absolute.
Oh, marvellous. That was 80s Matchbox with Mr. Mental. And this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with my own Mr. and Mrs. Mental, Emily and Gareth. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Like we've just met, like you've just come in.
Yeah.
But we're saying good morning to the viewers, which is a nice thing. I'm slightly on edge this morning, I've got to be honest with you. I'm going to a football match after, which is, when you're a West Bromwich Albion fan, is cause enough to be anxious. I'm going to Tottenham Hotspurs, but I am... a guest of Sir Alan Sugar.
Wow, Alan Sugar?
Yes.
From The Apprentice.
Yeah, that one, yeah. Yeah, apparently he doesn't like it if people do that.
Can you not mention The Apprentice?
Well, I won't mention it because I've never seen it still to this day. So what I'm hoping is that he doesn't ask me any quiz. There might be a quiz at half-time about The Apprentice.
You'll have to lie.
I don't think I could possibly lie to Sir Alan Sugar. It wouldn't be right.
That's going to be brilliant.
I did try and record it on my Sky Plus once, and sometimes the picture freezes on digital telly. And what the programme started, as you say, and there was like this shot of the Gherkin building, and it was on for about 4 minutes with him talking over the top, and I thought they've overdone the Gherkin.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're at McDonald's, you think they've overdone the Gherkin. It was like that. And then I realised the picture had frozen, and I couldn't just listen to it over a picture of the Gherkin. So
it's going to be like, you think you've been to the football before. You've never been to the football with me. I'm no mug. Don't try and pull the wool over my eyes.
You see, I find that
Does he wear a bobble hat? Don't pull the wool over my eyes.
There's a taxi driver outside typing your address into his sat-nav.
Is that the kind of thing
yeah,
say?
That's what he says.
I'm going to be frightened to death. I'm going to be so intimidated.
Don't try and tell him that you're like him either. He doesn't like it if you say you're like him. Nobody's like me. I'm unique. That's
okay.
what
I wasn't planning to say.
Don't do that.
It's nice to meet you, Sir Alan. You and I are very, very similar. I'm sure it'll be lovely and stuff, especially if we win. But, I'm a bit... he's one of those blokes who's a bit scary, isn't he?
Oh, he's terrifying. Although I do quite fancy him.
Oh, well, that's because he looks a bit like Henry VIII.
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps that's you in my opening gambit. I'll say, who you look like. Do you remember that king who killed wives? Now, last week, I say, was the first time, because we're still learning how to do a radio show, as many of you will have realised, and last week was the first time that we sort of threw something out to the audience, and they really, you all responded very well. Not all of you, obviously, that would have been nightmarish for our switchboard ladies. We don't have any. They used to in the BBC in the 1940s. But we had a great response. Last week we asked people what was the stupidest things they'd argued about, and it was an avalanche.
It was.
Yeah, and they're still coming in. So we thought we'd rather than squander them, we'd talk about the ones that came in during the week.
Well, I've got a good one here. This is one of my favourites, which is, dear Frank, I used to argue with my brother about if selling ice door-to-door by an iceman is a viable business model. I have been having this argument since 2001. Love, James.
Well, surely Sir Alan Sugar is about to ask this about. I might just casually... Because there'll be a point where someone says, do you want ice? And I'll say, I'll tell you what, funny you should say that.
I love that they've been having the argument since 2001.
Yeah.
There's no break, presumably.
Recurring arguments are good, where you just know...
Well, what do you think? I wouldn't be very interested in a man who came to my door saying, do you want any ice?
No, he'd be frantic as well, wouldn't he? I mean, I guess he'd have some sort of mobile refrigeration. I don't think he'd have handfuls of ice cream. Do you want any ice? Quick, it's melting!
I don't know if that would be acceptable during the swine flu pandemic.
No, that's not hygienic, is it?
No, unless you wore a face mask. There used to be, in cricket matches, when I was a youth, and I used to go to Edgbaston, particularly if we played the West Indies, in fact, only when we played the West Indies, there was like a big Rastafarian man who used to walk around, and he used to have a sack, and when he opened, people would stop him, and he'd open the sack, and it was like all sawdust, and he'd scratch it away, and it was a big block of ice, and then he'd scratch at the ice, and he'd make a slush puppy there on the spot.
Oh, he'd fashion one.
Wow.
Yeah, with a bit of sawdust and that in it. And I'm not saying he made a living, but he supplemented his whatever
Was he mad?
I don't think he was mad.
Is sawdust good to carry ice in?
Well, the sawdust apparently stops it from melting so quickly. So if that... who was the person who sent the email?
He's just called himself James.
Well, if James wants to give it a go, then I would suggest that he wraps his ice in a bit of sawdust. You know, the Alan Sugar reference is coming already. I feel myself... I've become an entrepreneur. Oh, dear. So I'm excited about it. I generally take my football sans sucre. But we'll see what happens.
Absolute.
You know, my hair is on eBay at the moment. Not all of it, but that which I discarded on this very show 2 weeks ago with the aid of Emily's celebrity hairdresser friend Matthew. Jo, who's on after us, she gathered it all up into a small Hessian sack with some sawdust, obviously, to keep it fresh, and put it on eBay. Not eBay. Do you know eBay?
That's that other website.
That's like a Birmingham auction website, isn't it? eBay.
eBay would be a fabulous kind of gay website, wouldn't it? There probably is one called that. I always thought there should be a Yorkshire version of eBay called eBay Gum. So
how much have you got for it so far?
Well, at the moment, I can't believe this. It's scanned. This goes to charity, by the way. Me and Joe aren't splitting the proceeds.
Is it a hair loss charity?
I don't want to. We don't want to split hairs. Sorry.
Which charity is it?
That's a very good question. One thing you've got to learn about radio: never ask anyone a factual question. They almost certainly won't know the answer. That's good then.
Thank goodness I'm here.
At the moment. Well, I think that all the time. Whatever Neil Francis may say about you being a pathological liar.
How dare you?
I think he was being light-hearted. He listens to this. I don't want him in the car now, saying to the driver, stop the car.
He called me high maintenance, and that's so accurate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. That's the truest thing. Anyway, so my hair, my hair stands on end at £1,000 on eBay.
That's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. I can't believe it. It makes me wonder who would pay £1,000 for my hair that isn't a voodoo chieftain.
Well, I'm bidding on some of David Baddiel's fingernails.
Oh, yeah. What's that at the moment?
It's not bad, actually. They're going quite cheap.
I had an argument. Speaking of mad arguments, which we were talking about a lot last week, I had an argument with my girlfriend. We were in France on holiday. And for some reason, we were talking about my hair colour. And she suddenly said to me, what was your original hair colour? And I said, well, you can see it, can't you? And she said, well, no, it's just all grey now. And I said, no, it's not all grey. It's grey. I said, I acknowledge it's grey, but you can see the original colour. She said, no, you can't. It's just all grey. And I said, no, there is. And it got, I mean, it
Did you
really...
say no in that tone of voice?
I did, yeah. And I honestly don't think I was touchy about the greyness. I was slightly frightened because it seemed to be an unawareness of reality, which I thought maybe she's going mad and will kill me. And we ended up, at her insistence, I had to text 5 friends. The text that just said, "Sorry to bother you, what colour is my hair?" and then we had to wait to see what the response.
The results are in.
Exactly. It was like the Eurovision.
It was like election night.
We've got Nikki in Copenhagen. Hello.
And what were the results?
Well, they all said basically exactly the same thing. After a brief sentence which expressed some surprise at the text in the first place, they said, well, it's kind of sort of dirty brown with a fair bit of grey in it.
I bet you were relieved to hear that.
I was, because I thought maybe, I'm so scared about getting grey hair. I kind of imagined.
My original colour was dirty brown. So
yeah, well, I'm happy with dirty brown, but it's not all. But it was really, it was quite a nasty argument. Anyway, if anyone wants to check my hair colour, the eBay auction ends at 1 o'clock today. If you want to up it from £1,000, but it's childline. It's a good thing. I don't know what you'd do with my. Maybe you could make a collage picture of me, and you can with real hair, like the Action Man real hair. Do you remember him?
Yes.
Okay. Don't bluff me. Don't bluff me, Gareth, if you don't remember.
No, I
him.
do. Yes,
I think you're lying.
How dare you?
Well, I think that should be today's phone-in. Is what's the stupidest thing you've ever lied about?
Yeah, that's good.
Action Man's hair.
Yes, well, it didn't take long, did it?
No, I do remember Action Man's hair, and he had eyes that looked places. You could make his eyes look, see?
Yeah, don't try and divert me with the eyes thing.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about the eyes. Just answer the question. It's the David Dimbleby coming out of me. So, now, we should clear up the Neil Francis. Neil Francis, he sort of cast doubt on whether Emily's got a boyfriend, because Emily's always talking about being single. And then he said last week you accidentally slipped and said my boyf, and then stopped yourself. Because some people do call their boyfriend their boyfriend.
Like I'm in a boy band and I'm having to pretend I'm single.
Yeah, in case
not to upset my thousands of fans.
Exactly, yeah. But can we establish now, you are single, aren't
I'm
you?
single as hell.
Yeah, okay.
I am. And Neil, I wasn't lying. I'm sorry that you thought that I was. I don't want this to affect our relationship.
He's talking
here.
about a past boyfriend, because although you are single, you've been out with a lot of men.
Well, yeah, I think we once established that Emily had been out with the whole cast of Dad's Army, many of whom didn't survive the ordeal.
And Ken Dodd, wasn't it? Ken Dodd.
Ken Dodd, yeah, who does 3.5 hours apparently.
He goes on
Good
all
enough for
night.
me. Yeah, so we'd love to hear from you all. What's the stupidest thing you've ever lied about? But don't lie. Obviously, some people think, "Oh, there's a fabulous double bluff here. I'll lie," and then that'll be a good thing. By the way, what we really need to cheer us up, I think, at the moment is this.
Saturday morning!
That's the only jingle we've got on the show. That was something that Gareth shouted out spontaneously, and we've captured it forever.
I could do that live, though.
No, it's not. You'll never
Not
get
the
it that
same,
good
no,
again.
no.
No, it'll be like Elvis's Aloha from Hawaii. You've got to do that special thing.
Absolute.
That was the Killers. Oh, that's a bit of a worry. We're asking people to send in their the stupidest lies they've ever told. Are you inclined to, apart from your boyfriend thing? No, I know you haven't got a boyfriend. What?
Any porkies?
Yeah, do you? Yeah, I have got a little bit of porkies, but I'm having the antivirals.
Which decade do you want to pick? A decade. I mean, recently I lied to the Virgin Media internet man, the man who'd come to do my internet, because my flat was so messy. I said, "Oh, I've just moved in."
Right.
Because I didn't want him to know that it was that messy. And then, of course, I got in terrible trouble because he said, "Oh, so when did you get this cable fitted?"
Oh,
I said,
no.
And then, of course, it emerged that I'd been there 7 years. So then I told a worse lie, which was, "Oh, well, actually, I've been living with my mum's. I don't want to go into it. So, the flat's been empty." And it was just awful.
Did you fancy him? Is that what all this was about?
No!
Okay. You better not, because he might be listening. I'll tell you what I do. I have the worst sense of direction. I mean, I have no sense of direction. I get lost in the Absolute Studios, and I'm not lying about that. And I once asked a psychologist about this, who I met at a party, and she said I probably didn't crawl as a baby. That some babies, they sit around and then one day they walk. They don't bother with the crawling element at all. But it's during the crawling stage that you develop your sense of direction. So I probably didn't crawl. So I asked my elder sister on that if she remembers me crawling. And she said, apart from in the 80s when I had a drink problem, never. But people occasionally stop me and ask me for directions, and I always give them a full set of directions to places I honestly don't know where they are. I just can't bring myself to say I don't know and look stupid. That's completely outrageous. Yeah.
And that explains it, because sometimes people give you directions and they've clearly sent you in completely the wrong way.
Yeah, well, I am that person. I just imagine having to own up to not knowing where everywhere is in the world by road.
Wow. I think you should say, and at the end, and then you go there and then you're there, but that is all lies. Just so they know not to follow them.
Sorry, I didn't crawl as a baby. How do you think they'd take that?
What about you, Gareth?
I'm not a big liar. I remember one. I mean, this isn't really
son of a preacher man. Here we go again, Mr. Morals.
I was. We've got some good ones coming in from school.
Don't switch it.
No, I know. I'm not going to. I was at school once, and there was this guy called Pardeep who I really didn't like in my class, because he was one of the bullies, but he was like a henchman bully.
Oh, that's what I was as well.
I was a henchman bully. I don't think that's a role that you should dismiss so easily.
Well, if you're just like following the charismatic cool bully, at least be a bully in your own right, I think. So that.
No, but I was a court jester bully, which I think is acceptable. Anyway, carry on about Pardeep.
He annoyed me. So what I did is I got a drawing pin and I stuck it to his chair with some blue tack.
I didn't think anyone outside of the Beano put a drawing pin on someone's chair.
Well, it was probably inspired by the Beano.
Okay.
I was a big Beano fan. And then I did that. I thought it was a perfect crime. And then forgot all about it. And then at lunchtime, my form teacher called me in to the room, and she said, in the class after you, Kevin, who was a big fat boy, had sat down on a chair
and he'd burst
and been very badly punctured.
Oh no!
By the drawing pin.
Yeah.
And she held it up in front of me.
And did he go around the classroom all around and just ended in a horrible sort of slightly bloody sinuous heap?
Like Monica Seles.
Like Monica Seles in reverse. We should say that Monica Seles, the tennis player, said that after she got stabbed, she went from a size 8 to a size 18.
So she ballooned.
She did. She absolutely ballooned. So what happened? Tell us.
I lied.
Yeah, but what happened?
No, I haven't seen it.
What I don't understand about that story is why you had to blue tack. Don't you just... It just sits on the chair.
Put the pin there.
Did you put it underneath the chair in a terrible mix-up?
It just seemed like, it wouldn't move, and blue tack's always fun.
And what was the lie? The
lie, I said that I hadn't done it.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's not a stupid lie. That's quite a canny lie.
Yeah.
Have we got any emails?
But I did feel bad about it.
But you said that with an air of, is there a life raft anywhere nearby? Have we got any emails, Gareth, after your roaring anecdote of school days?
Shut up! John from Glasgow. When in primary school, there was a cat in the playground, and I lied that it was mine for some reason. Then the teacher only went and brought it in the class. Nightmare.
That's really weird, because when I was a kid, there was a dog in the playground, and I claimed it was mine. I'd forgotten all about that. And I got to the point where I had to approach it and stroke it. Oh man, I'd completely forgotten that I lied about that.
It's quite a common childhood thing.
Yeah, if you see an animal in the playground, you want to own it.
That's fine.
That's what I think.
Alex in Leeds says, in the pub, I once claimed I could track a man over hard ground at night.
Oh, we've all done that. I'm calling that a white lie. And he can't track a man over hard ground at night.
Absolute.
And we're asking people to phone in the stupidest lies they've ever told. Can we go back to that last one? I can track a man at night over hard ground. That's fabulous. I would never think to brag. I once told a woman I was a channel swimmer in a sort of chat. I think chatting up is a very rich area for lies. And channel swimmer just seemed impressive to me. Less so now that David Walliams has done it. Yeah. But at the time, it was only men in moustaches in Victorian times had done it, really. What else we got?
James Collins, he's the Iceman. The Iceman, that's called it, can be his nickname. He says, please mention my door-to-door Iceman idea to Sir Alan. And remember to call him Sir Alan, not Alan, or he will fire you.
Okay.
Secondly, he says, I think the stupidest thing I have lied about was in primary school when I pretended every summer to have hay fever, as I was envious of all the sympathy sufferers seemed to receive. I even tried to make my eyes water by thinking of something particularly sad.
You see now, if he got the swines, he'd get everyone to think it was his recurring hay fever.
The boy who cried pig.
Yeah. Very good. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. Oh, I think our work here is done. Shall we just put a very, very long track on and go home? What else?
The worst thing I had to lie about was having to phone in sick on my honeymoon, as I had no holidays left. I had to phone work from the balcony in my room in Havana and pretend to be ill. I was worried sick for months after thinking they would find out Simon in West Brom.
See, that's the trouble. I love the way we get loads of emails from the West Midlands. I feel my people are with me. At any moment, I could announce a revolution on this, and the West Midlands would rise up. I love that.
You sort of did on Question Time.
Yeah, I didn't. Did I announce that? Yeah, exactly. I didn't call the West Midlands to arms. No. I feel I could do that on this show. How brilliant. If I said, let's rise up and march on Parliament, I could empty the West Midlands, they'd all march down here. And then we'd have some faggots and peas.
You just need a cause.
What? That's what we eat. Don't you dare do a joke about homosexuals. You dare.
Rain's faggots, I know those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, they make their own faggots in the West Midlands. Stop giving me that look,
You just
Gareth.
need a cause, don't you? Peace. I thought because you said peace could be your
faggots and peace. That could be the West Midlands.
I thought it was going to be equal rights and peace.
Are you going to leave? Faggots they're like meat offally things in a sheep's stomach bag. Someone listening in there will think that's the most homophobic remark I've ever heard in my life. Can I say they are food? There's nothing bad intended.
No.
And yeah, faggots and peace, that would be a great... we can't even... I don't want to go any further with this. I see my career...
Interviews. Have you ever lied in an interview?
I've never done a job... I've done one job interview. Do you mean job interviews?
He meant TV interview.
No, I've only ever done one. And I'll tell you what I did. The man in the... there was only two of us up for the job, and the other bloke seemed incredibly qualified and very snooty in the waiting room. And I said to him, so where are you from? I thought I'd make a bit of genial conversation, me being a kind of, happy-go-lucky, cheery chap. And he said, oh, well, wherever I lay my hat, really. And I just thought, I hate you. And I said to him...
And you're Paul Young.
So I said to him, what hat? And he said, well, it's like a I said, no, but...
You say it's at home. I've laid it.
I deliberate. I said that hat has since been repossessed, and that's the recession for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolute.
I went to watch the London Marathon on Sunday, and it was I've never seen it in the flesh before. It was actually I went about 7 hours in. So it was really people who were having a terrible time, struggling. And I never knew this, but you have your name on your vest, and the idea is that people call out to encourage you. I bet I shouted, come on, Flora, at about 7 people before I realised it was the sponsor. I made an absolute fool of myself. But the thing is that people go, and they're there at the beginning, frantically cheering on all the good runners. And then the people who really need verbal help, everyone's kind of gone home by then, so I felt a bit sorry for them. It's a brilliant thing. And of course, like most people, I decided I'm going to do it next year.
Oh, really?
My ambition is to do the marathon with no sponsorship whatsoever. I don't know why, but there seems something so completely reckless about doing that and wrong.
I've not done a marathon, but I have done 2 half marathons before.
That counts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they were separated by time.
Yeah. How long?
Quite a long time.
Okay.
I've walked to my car.
Have you really? I imagine you have shoes that you put on to walk to your car, then you put on your driving shoes, and then you get your heels on. Someone just sent in a thing saying that now that we've established that Emily's single, what chat-up line do you think would get her attention? What do you think? I think probably, oh no, I've picked up the wrong Rolex before I left home.
Sorry, I've dropped a lot of money somewhere.
It's a joke.
That wouldn't work anywhere. What I'd like them to say is, do you fancy coming back to Hampton Court? That would be the best set-up line.
Yeah.
How do you fancy being number 8?
Yeah.
How many wives did he have?
6.
I've
6, yeah, you'd have to be number 8. Was the one we don't know about? The lost wife.
Quite a lot of time has passed since we stopped counting.
Someone will discover an extra wife that nobody knew about. It always happens. But Gaby Roslin, by the way, is here after 9 o'clock.
Excellent.
Oh, Gareth nearly choked on the news. Yeah, are you a fan? I can see you are. In a slightly salacious way, I thought. I went to see Bob Dylan on Saturday night.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah. Now, I'm a massive Bob Dylan fan. I love Bob Dylan. I'll go so far as to say that. From about the age of 17, he's been a central figure in my life. He was absolutely rubbish.
Oh, no.
Really?
He was rubbish to the point of... I've never left a gig before where people were saying, well, that was just rubbish. You know, there are people like fans obviously put a brave face on it. Somebody said to me, do you enjoy that, Frank? And I said, well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. And they said, no, you're right, it was terrible. It was really... Wow. What he does is that... say if he's going to do Blowing in the Wind, right? The only way you know he's doing Blowing in the Wind is if you know the words.
If you can make out the words as well. Cause
so he sort of goes... in the wind. And you think, oh, wind.
Yeah, wind.
And I'm not exaggerating. It's unbelievable.
No, he really can't sing very much anymore.
I think he can. I think he can, but he won't.
Yeah.
And
because on the albums he sounds quite good still, doesn't he?
He sounds fine on the album.
You kind of think, well, how are you doing that? And then in concert you go...
Well, I wonder if he goes... in the studio, and then somebody with a computer sort of turns it into words. I think that could be done.
My brother is a huge Bob Dylan fan, as am I, and when he went, he took a harmonica along in the hope that he'd meet Bob Dylan and be able to get him to blow down it.
I thought he said he was going to join in.
No,
Community harmonica. He doesn't even play guitar anymore.
No.
He just plays
I think he's
keyboard.
got arthritis.
I heard he got arthritis, but I don't think that's allegedly he has arthritis. I think he's...
And there were no screens, were there, I heard as well, so he was just absolutely
no
fine.
Big screens, yeah. So it was a tiny bloke going... It could have been a cat, for all we know. Could have been a cat in a sombrero. Well, not in a sombrero. I don't know. I've got
that sounds like a Bob Dylan line. There was a cat in a sombrero.
Well, I've had a sombrero on my wall for many years, and I've been wearing it this week. You can get a seat on the tube, no problem, in a sombrero at the moment. I'd recommend anyone who wants to try that. Thanks for getting that. I very much appreciate it. Good to know you're with me, Gareth.
Absolute.
So after the gig, I went on the back of Adrian Charles's motorbike, and when we got out, we got on the bike, and it went. And
is it a Brummy bike? Like that sounded slightly.
You're fired. So, I better not say that I accidentally. You know what? I'll do that. You know, when I meet people, I'll come back to this story. When I meet people who are associated with any particular time, like I met Hugh Cornwell the other week, and because it was you, I sing all the time. I hum a lot, the way people do. I hum a lot because anyway. And I found myself. Yeah, I said, you know, it's great to meet you, and all that. And I do that, which is really embarrassing, obviously. And I bet when I meet Alan Sugar, I bet accidentally I'll start going and he'll be absolutely livid. He won't. I just imagine he won't take it well. In fact, could you do me a little tape so I could play it? If I just keep a straight face and we just sit there and I have it in my pocket, you won't know where it's coming from. He might think he's imagining it.
Set your ringtone to it.
Yeah.
And then on phone.
Yeah, I don't know how he'd be if that was my ringtone. Wouldn't he think I was a bad stalker? I might start going, honey, oh, sugar. Yeah, I don't imagine that would go great either.
Absolute.
I'm Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth, and our guest Gaby Roslin is in the building but not in the studio. So if you want to say anything about her behind her back, this is your last opportunity.
Right.
Don't.
I'll make a list. Right.
Don't. So that, so when me and Adrian Charles got back to the motorbike after the Bob Dylan gig at the O2, it wouldn't start. And I asked, there was a few bikers around us, because we're in the bikers' car park, obviously. And I said to this woman who was putting leathers on, I said, wow. No, I didn't. I said, do you know our bike won't start? Do you know a lot about bikes? She said, oh, not really. Unless it's the kill switch. And I said to Adrian, he was on the phone to the AA by then. I said, is it the kill switch? And he went, no, because it's revving. And I said, no, it's revving.
Kill switch, is that's
on a bike. It's on a motorbike.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not for killing people with.
No.
It's not like a Ben-Hur thing that comes out.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not no blades out the side of the thing. So I asked someone else, and they said it's not the kill switch. I said, by now I'm an expert. I said, no, it's not the kill switch because it's revving. You see. Yeah. So anyway, an hour and 45 minutes later, the AA man came, and you can probably guess what was wrong with the bike.
Was it the kill switch?
It was the kill switch. Yeah. So Adrian was in disgrace. Actually, just come to think of it, he said, "Don't tell anyone that because it's too embarrassing."
It's tempting fate a bit going on a motorbike to a Bob Dylan gig, because he had a big motorbike crash, didn't he?
He did, yeah. But it was tempting fate in a very slight way. No more than it is.
People would have thought, that's funny.
Yeah.
They had a motorbike crash.
Yeah, I mean, I keep pigs. In a way, that's tempting fate more. Have we got any more email? We're asking people about the stupidest lies they've ever told.
I have. He said, I went on the school trip to the Tower of London. My mate.
Who did?
I don't know. I was looking at.
Oh, just tell
no,
us.
They haven't got a name. Shell
comes with his own pauses. People think, hasn't Frank turned his microphone? It's up. It's just he comes with pauses. Go on, Gareth.
Shell from Sussex.
Says, Go on,
Frank. I went on a school trip to the Tower of London. My mate and I said my uncle worked there, so we spent time with a complete stranger with permission from our teacher. Oh, that's bizarre. I think they said it was their uncle, so they spent time with this guy who they said was their uncle.
I don't like that.
And he was happy to collude in the lie. That's rather disturbing.
Was he a ghost?
Bemused. Yeah, he had his head under his arm. We've got Stevie from Sheffield said, my mate lied to an admirer that he played for Sheffield Wednesday. On match day, he hired a suit and met her at the players' entrance.
I like that he had to hire a suit as well.
He got a load of kids to ask for his autograph.
No, come on, no.
Yeah, when he met her. He then told her that he had been dropped for the game and he was demanding a transfer. The week after, he was a lead singer in a band. Good days.
That's a hell of a transfer. Doesn't happen very often, that, does it? Yes, this one has gone from West Bromwich Albion to Kasabian in a last minute. Actually, that did kind of happen. In anyone here who ever read Roy of the Rovers comics, in the 80s, two members of Spandau Ballet played for Melchester Rovers, which is Roy of the Rovers 10. They used to be in the comic every week. They were kind of, because they have a lot of spare time, pop stars, they were able to be professional footballers.
That's a fictional team, though.
It's a fictional team, yeah, okay. but obviously real people. So there was two members of Spandau Ballet that played in the team every week.
Right.
I think that's a great idea. I also think that I think there should be more a sponsorship thing, so you can play in football teams. But, when people say of Roman Abramovich at Chelsea, they say, oh, he interferes, he makes people, he interferes in the transfers. If I was him and I'd spent $3 million on the club, I'd definitely play every week. I'd just play. And who'd stop me? And I think you should be able to do a sponsorship deal where you pay rich people can play for their favourite clubs. Because it's only one player. There's always one rubbish player anyway who doesn't really get involved. And you'd be able to buy better players, and you just have that one
pay a big load of money, and you can play.
And you can play regularly. You can't be dropped. Cool. Yeah, and you wouldn't do any real damage if they played you, in the middle of the pitch. You couldn't
be in goal or something.
No, you couldn't be in goal. That would be bad.
That's a bit unfair towards rich people. Maybe there should be one player who is either one of those people or drawn out of a hat.
Oh, no, I don't like drawn out of a hat. I like the rich people element. Yeah, let's stick with that.
Absolute
Frankenstein by Edgar Winter. There's a drum solo on Absolute Radio. I feel I have done something good this morning. Gaby Roslin is with us in the studio.
Was that good?
Yeah, that was good.
Was that good?
Did you not like it?
No.
Oh, you look like a rock chick, Gaby.
Oh, no, well, there is a semi-bit of me, but that's just too much.
Okay.
I'm worried about my baby's ears at home.
Well, it was, yeah, okay. I get 4 tracks, you see, on the show. In the 2 hours, I'm allowed to pick 4 myself.
And that was one of yours.
Yeah, so the audience have got used to the idea now that that's basically a cup of tea making type. But anyway, it's great to have you here, Gabby.
Thank you.
You're doing a new TV show.
Yeah.
Let me get this right. It's called Celebrity. It's called Leprosy.
Leprosy.
And I think it's about
Leprosy
time there was a
Homes,
programme
yes.
about leprosy, because I don't know enough about it.
Leprosy Homes of famous.
Yeah, that'd be great. Leprosy hospitals in East Africa. And you're going round, are you? No, it's called Celebrity Fantasy Homes.
Yes, it is.
And,
but it's not their homes. They're actually looking for a new home, and it's completely for real. They're looking for either a second home or a new home. And so we take them to 4 different properties. They give us a budget and they tell us what they're looking for and where they're looking for it. And in that process, it sort of turned into this rather candid, revelatory show where because they're not plugging a TV show, as I am, shamelessly, or an album or a film. They're talking about themselves, and it gets very deep and quite heartbreaking.
David Guest talking about himself. I can't imagine such a thing.
Do you know what? He's great. Have you met him?
Well, I've never met... tell a lie, I have met him.
You just told a lie.
Yeah, I did tell a lie, but I owned up fairly quickly, you have to say. But I went to his first wedding anniversary with... Liza with a Z. Yeah. Liza Minnelli. I love Liza Minnelli.
Well, who doesn't? Apart from David Guest.
Yeah, and so I met him then, and he seemed perfectly nice.
Do you know what? He's wonderful. He is barking mad, as I keep telling everybody.
He's quite scary looking, though, Gabby.
No, do you know what? He's not. And when you get to know him, and he's very loyal, he's got a great heart.
He is scary looking.
He's not.
Because on your programme,
he's got his cheeks.
Well, he's got a beard now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Because I watched that episode with you and David Guest, and I still thought I thought he looked like if Tom Jones had been in a fire.
That's what everybody says. Not the fire bit, but the Tom Jones and David Guest in the same room. Well, you never seen them in the same room at the same time, do you?
I think Tom Jones was at the wedding.
Or was it David Guest?
Oh, God, maybe it was. He was kissing Liza Minnelli.
Oh, you see.
And holding a big horseshoe. Maybe it was, sir. Maybe it was. Yeah, so I was actually asked to do this programme.
Well, why didn't you?
Well, because I didn't want to buy a house. I thought, I don't want to buy a house just to get on the telly. That would be rubbish.
Oh, well, you do the next series and think about buying a new house.
Yeah, but it seems wrong to me to buy a house just to get on a TV.
No, but these people really are. And
I thought it might be a fix, and I was waiting for that bit at the letter was saying, of course, if you weren't thinking, we'll buy you a second home. And I thought, well, there you go. Well, that wasn't in it. So I know it is genuine. You have to be buying a second home. But, so I watched that one with David Guest, and he was looking for somewhere in Cambridge.
Yes.
But they're quite exotic locations, some of them, aren't they?
Some of them, well, it depends what you think of as exotic, but we were in Marbella with Lee Sharp. He's a really nice lad.
I'm very glad that ex-footballers are buying places in Marbella.
Such a shock.
All is well with the world.
Do you know, it's very funny, because when we were out there, I said to him, is it because there are loads of ex-footballers and Brits? He went, no, that's not why I want to come here. So there we go, that's what he said. But we went to Sitges with Sherry Hewson, and I absolutely fell in love with Sitges. In case
what is Sitges? Is that a club?
Where? Yes, it is. It's the coast.
It sounds like a nightclub.
Well, it is actually. It's one big gay nightclub, and it's a gay and family resort, and it's wonderful. 20 minutes outside Barcelona on the coast, and it's really lovely. And I went there with Sherry Hewson and her daughter, and then we had Misha Paris. We went to Sardinia. And it was freezing cold.
Can I make a terrible confession, which I probably shouldn't say, but I don't know who Sherry Houston is.
Sherry Houston? Well, she was in Coronation
Not Houston,
Street.
Frank.
Oh, she's not one of the Houstons.
No.
Oh, and why does she want to live in a gay resort, then? She's not gay? No. Nice restaurants, that's what we're guessing, isn't it?
She's also a loose woman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
From the TV show.
Yeah, I'm mentally running through the list.
I can see that. I could see the sort of the loose woman and the gay resort in your head, and just wondered where you're going to go with that.
I can see the advantage of a gay resort, because I just think...
No, it's a very family resort.
Generally, homosexuals I find to be sort of friendlier people. They're not going to go around drunk and beat you up at night, I find. So I'd happily move to it. Next time I'll go for... What's it called? Sitges?
Sitges is lovely.
Yeah.
It's a Spanish resort.
I'll see if there's any Sitges vacant.
Oh,
Absolute.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Gareth and Gaby Roslin.
Gaby Roslin!
Exactly.
oh, thank you, Gareth.
Well, that was
very good. That's my very own jingle. Do it again. Go on.
Gaby Roslin!
It's not a million miles away from our show jingle, which goes...
Saturday morning! But that's the idea, it's a theme.
Yeah.
I liked it. It worked for me, though. He
Like
made
my
me
teeth.
happy.
No, I like it because it sounds from the heart. That's what it's all about. What was that accent email you were about to tell me about before we went to
I've got it here, actually.
Oh,
It
you've
says,
got it.
Hey, Frank, when I started high school, I spoke with a Scouse accent for the first 6 weeks. I've always lived in Surrey. It wasn't until my mum
Was
came
it
in...
Qatar? It might have just been Qatar.
It wasn't until my mum came into parents' evening that I got found out. Love, Claire.
So that's a lot. It's one of
Yeah.
our... We're asking people for their stupidest lies. That's brilliant to keep
Yeah.
an accent up for 6 weeks.
Oh, and last week we had one that said, Dear Frank, like yourself, I'm cursed with a black country accent. I'd love another accent. If you could have any other accent, what would it be? From Luke in Dudley.
Well, I did... I auditioned for an American TV show in last December. Right?
Seriously?
You know, you get these random...
What? To do what?
to be an actor. What do you mean to do what?
Well,
It was like one of these. It was made by the bloke who does Boston, whatever it's called,
Legal.
Boston Legal. It was done by him. It was a really big production.
Yeah.
And I got there, and John, who's the guy from Mummy? John, the actor. He was in 4 Weddings and a Funeral as well.
John
yes,
Hannah.
yes.
John Hannah.
John Hannah, yeah, he was there, so I thought, oh no, it's like proper actors. I thought it would just be a comedian. So I had to do an American accent for the
do it
part.
now, please.
Well, I found the only way I could do an American accent is to go really deep. That's the only
go
way.
on, do it, please.
So they said to this one, I said, these people are all sitting here on telephones talking to each other. And I thought, why am I doing it so deep? And she was looking at me, and she said, would you like to try that again? I said, certainly, everyone's talking to each other. It was like I was going to say, they thought, we'll get you in for advertising, I think. A new TV show.
You could do the trailer.
Yeah. Yes.
But you know what's even more bizarre? I know this is radio and it's such a shame people can't see, but your face also goes... You put your
that
facial
spoilt
low
it.
down.
I think that spoilt it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, because I sort of lose my chin, yeah. But, so funnily enough, I didn't get the part. But yeah.
Oh.
But if I could have any accent...
What would it be?
I quite like the Welsh accent.
Really?
Yeah, I met a woman who's from Plaid Cymru. The other night. Called it, and she got a lovely lilting Welsh.
She had a
and
lovely
I wouldn't mind that. I like it when they say, "No, don't come round here."
Yeah.
I'd like that, but I wouldn't want to swap my own accent because I like it that people assume I'm stupid, and then I can throw. What about you? Because you've got I don't know what your accent is, Gaby.
Me,
really.
London. I'm London born and bred.
But you're not London pride. No.
No, I'm not. I'm probably. I don't know.
If you could have an accent.
If I could have an accent, well, mine's okay, I suppose. But I suppose an American accent. It is that same thing because also. In my past, I've been in American shows, so I had to play an American on stage for 6 months and for a year in another show. So it's the American accent.
So you were in Chicago, weren't you?
Yeah, and then Harry Met Sally. So I had to be an American for a year and a half. In fact.
Did you have to simulate?
Yes.
Physical excitement in an American accent in Harry Met
yes.
Sally?
And on our last show, I let it last for about 14 minutes because I thought, this is the last time. I'm just going to go for it. And I'd hit that desk and faked it for 14 minutes.
But doing it in an American accent, so you're sort of going, oh. Well,
Can
obviously.
I leave now?
Obviously.
I am so frightened.
Well, I'm going to do mine. I'm going to do my American.
Frank, your American accent is just creepy.
No, if I do that physical thing, I sound like a Doctor Who monster.
You sound like a cow giving birth.
Yes. Isn't that what she's doing in Harry Met Sally? I thought that was yeah. So who did you play? Who did you play in Chicago?
I was about to say, who do I play in Harry Met Sally? I was Harry. Mama Morton.
You don't see. I thought Mama Morton had to be like old and fat. And big and dangerous.
I was a lipstick version of what she is.
You were like a sort of
lipstick
sexy
lesbian.
big mama. Oh, yeah. That's you get all some good songs in that.
Yes.
Have
you ever been asked to be in Chicago?
I was asked to be the
Billy
Mr.
Flynn?
The Mr. Cellophane man.
Oh,
yeah.
were you?
Yeah.
You'd be great.
Yeah, I preferred. If they'd offered me Billy Flynn, I might have gone for it. Now I feel, but don't phone. The moment is gone. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I was asked about doing George Formby the musical, playing George Formby.
Oh, that what a great idea.
Yeah, because I
And?
play the ukulele. Well, I'm still up for that. Yeah. That's basically that one. I've got all the accents today. So you must have a great American accent then.
Well, it was quite a long time ago.
Oh, come on, give us a bit.
You went quite posh when you said it was quite
I
a
know
long
it was
time ago.
quite a long time ago now.
I'd like you to do it because people will think we've got an American guest, which sounds good for the show.
John Barrowman is an American, but he's actually a Glaswegian, and he admits it. He's Glaswegian. He has this Glaswegian accent, but he's an American. He plays a full-time American.
Oh, so he's not really American,
No,
John Barrowman?
no,
I
it's
absolutely assumed he
But
was
he
American.
talks about it very openly, and every time he's interviewed, he'll slip into his Glaswegian accent when he's with his family and things.
He says it's like being bilingual.
Yes, well, he'd know about that. So, it's my favourite band in all the world.
Absolute.
We're with Gaby Roslin, and we've got people texting in and stuff about the stupidest lies they've ever told. Are you a liar, Gaby?
Are you a liar?
Are you a liar, Gaby
I
Roslin?
have never told a lie. No, I don't really tell lies, but there is... years ago, I was at a friend's book launch, and this woman who'd had quite a few glasses of whatever it was, the freebie white wine, came up to me. She said, "Oh, I love you! Oh, you're fantastic! I love you!" And I was thinking, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah.
And then she said, "Oh, please, just sign this book because I love you." So I went, "Okay." And she went on and on. So I said, "Okay, what shall I write?" She said, "To me, Angela," and put, "To Angela, lots of love, I love you so much, Ulrika Johnson." So I said, "Okay, I'll sign that." And I did, and I signed it as Ulrika, and that one went away, and then she came back over, she introduced somebody, she went, "Oh, look, it's Ulrika, oh, it's so lovely to meet you, I've loved you for years." And I went, oh, thank you.
Well, yeah, I think you should have told Sven-Göran Eriksson that. I thought that was quite underhand. Wow, well, that...
I've never admitted it to that. Poor woman is sitting there with Ulrika Johnson's autograph, and she thought it was Ulrika.
Yeah, but I thought that shows you in a very good light. Although it shows you as someone who easily turns to lies to get out of a difficult situation. I mean, it would have been... You could have got quite touchy about being mistaken.
Oh, no, I took it as a big compliment.
When I thought you were going to say Gabby Logan if she got the wrong one.
Oh, no, people do that, because I get into it, I walk down the street, because I do walk all over London, and people will come up to me and say, "How are the twins?" I don't have twins. And they think, "Oh, yes, it's Gabby. Oh, they'll say, the football. What's happening with the football?" I go, "I don't know."
Just do your usual lying thing. Yes. That's what you should do. The twins, well, one of them's got whooping cough. They've all got whooping cough, kids. So that'll be a safe bet. I imagine twins don't get things individually, do they? I suppose one catches it from the other.
Well, if it's the swine flu, you've got to... If
there's anyone listening who's got twins... don't phone in. Look after your twins. For
you've got
sake.
enough to be doing.
Yeah, I don't want Hugh Hefner phoning in because he's got twins at the moment. You know that.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, Hugh Hefner. He has like 3 girlfriends. Well, he got rid of the last lot, who I completely loved. And he's got...
that you completely loved.
Yeah, well, there's a programme called Girls of the Playboy Mansion.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen
which
it?
is
It's
fantastic.
brilliant.
On E, isn't it on E, isn't it? On E channel.
It's on, it's on 151 E Entertainment. But it's not on, it's ended now.
We're
but he's got
plugging that show more than Gabby.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
No, but 246 on Sky is Home, which is the rebranded...
it might be home to you. It's not home to me.
It's UK TV Style has been rebranded and called Home, and that's where you can find my show every weekday night at 9 o'clock.
Well, wherever I lay my hat, that's what I call home. So
you can lay your hat at the 246 door.
I can, but not David. So David Guest got his Cambridge house.
No, he didn't. He didn't. But Brendan Cole...
He's quite
an
picky,
offer.
I reckon, David Guest, though. I reckon he'd be
Quite picky?
Yeah, quite choosy.
I think the problem is, as well, is if you buy a house in Cambridge and you're David Guest, and it's on telly, then everyone knows where David Guest
But you know what?
lives.
I have to say, the extraordinary thing about David Guest is that wherever we went, people ran up and hugged him and loved him. The only other person is somebody like Barbara Windsor that people just go up and absolutely love. But everywhere we went with David, it was David, and young, old, Japanese, English, whatever. They all completely...
He did all the accents. Pretending to be. They all thought he was Tom Jones who'd been in a fire. They hugged him out of sympathy. Tom, what's happened to you? Well, I've been in the most terrible blaze. Yeah. So, that's what happened there.
Listen, when you walk down the street, I'm sure people aren't all hugging you and kissing you. I'm sure they have opinions about
Not with the Swines now. I won't let them anywhere near me. They don't recognise me in my mask.
You have a man now who goes around with a cattle prod to keep people away.
Exactly.
Now he's always done that, hasn't he?
Ow! I told you not to hit me with that again. Can you not?
No, but my point is, if I'd said to you, to your programme people, oh yes, I'd love to buy a house in Inverness, then it would have been on the telly. People would know then where I lived in Inverness, so that would lay me open to kidnap.
Well, and how many times have people tried to kidnap you? Is this a big problem?
Rag Week, it's a nightmare with the students. No, actually, David Guesto probably has a neon sign outside of his house saying David Guest lives here. So
David Guest house.
That's this man is the pond machine. That's why he's here. So you were, as you say, you are an actress. So
I went back. I trained as an actress, but I've been a presenter now for 21 years.
Yeah, but you were in Ali Met Sally.
Yeah,
not Ali Met Sally. That was
that's the Scottish version.
Or the Muslim version. But you played safe. Yeah. And you were in Chicago.
I went to Ali McCoist. That's weird, you see. I went straight to Ali McCoist.
I went to Ali McCoy, says Gaby Roslin.
No, you know what I mean.
It says Gabby Logan. Oh God. She probably does go to Ali McCoy's, I imagine, for advice.
Absolute.
I once heard that track played on Radio 1 by David Kid Jensen, and in the middle of it, he faded it down. See, I haven't learned to do clever stuff like this. In the middle of it, he faded it down really quiet, and he went, "The kid plays the boss." Oh, it was absolutely fantastic.
Genius.
I hope that was in the 80s. It must have been.
I think it probably was. That was Bruce Springsteen, in case you don't know who the boss is. And he was born to run, apparently. Didn't notice him in the marathon last week, so that didn't last long. Yeah, he's all talk. He's another liar.
He probably didn't crawl then. He's probably like you, bad with directions.
Yeah.
See how we link everything together?
But bear in mind, people only listen to this show for 4 minutes, so it's no good referring back to
until a song comes on.
So next, I'll tell you what I got guilty about is that every week we get plugged.
By the people before us.
Yes, the people before.
People.
Do you mean Neil Francis? Neil always says "coming up, Francis," which I really like that, and I'm still learning the train. I don't do it, but so I was all set to plug Jo this week, and then she's ill, so it's Martin Collins is on after this, just about. 'Cause he didn't.
I know I shouldn't be laughing because I know what you're going to say.
Go on.
About what happened to Martin Collins.
Well, you were there.
I was downstairs. And they wouldn't let him in the building.
Oh no, that's terrible.
The security guard wouldn't let him in.
Well, it is terrible because we'd have to do 4 hours if he didn't turn up. No, I think he might be. I think that might have been him, actually.
Yeah. Did he say, "Do you know who I am"?
No, he didn't. He was just standing there. He said, "Check my email." There he is. He's outside there. He said, "Check my email."
Hello.
I really am Martin Collins.
You knew who I was, didn't you?
I did. Because I knew him
before.
Martin Collins has burst into the studio. This is a very exciting moment for us all.
Martin Collins!
Thank you for the plug.
Where's my Martin Collins jingle? I told you I needed a Martin Collins. Sorry, it's very last minute, so it must be very exciting. When did you get the call?
Last night.
What time?
6 o'clock.
Oh, well, you've had ages.
It about 10.
Oh, really?
I had a drunken phone call from one of the producers here. Won't mention his name, Paul. Yeah.
And
that's that really, so I thought, I better go in then.
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't let you in.
Let you in, though, didn't they?
I know, he said, "OK, come with me, you stay here."
I think it's exciting. I think it's like, you know, when the pilot slumps over in an aeroplane and they have to talk them down from the HQ thing. It's a bit like that. You've been brought in at the last minute and, you haven't prepared about this and it's going to be spontaneous and I'm quite excited about it. You don't look that excited, if you don't mind me saying.
I'm always excited to be here. I worked under the former banner in Golden Square, which I won't mention, of course.
Yes. What, Virgin?
Time, as you know, that's the one.
Yeah. Gareth had a good idea that if Virgin had done a goal, they just play old stuff. They could call it Spinster. But it wouldn't work there with it.
think that's
with
brilliant.
Absolute. Yeah, Gareth, he's very clever.
very clever.
I think actually it might have even been my joke, but I've given it to him because he's young and needs the help. So,
No, it was me.
Was it you? Okay. Can we officially say it was Gareth's joke? Because I'm still not sure. If only I recorded all my conversations with other comedians. Okay, so Martin, you'll be with us after the break. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Gabby, your show is on Home.
On Home.
At 9 o'clock on.
9 o'clock weekday nights.
Yes, and the first one is with David Guest.
It has gone out already, Thursday and Friday, but it's all next week, and then it's repeated as well.
I bet it is.
Throughout
They've
the
got no
day.
other programmes on Home. I just think it's on perpetually.
Because they love it, that's why.
Oh, I'm the dog whisperer man myself. Anyway, thank you very much. This was Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Now wash your hands.
How exciting is it to play the British Heart Foundation's Weekly Flutter? Ka-ching! Exciting enough to get your heart racing. Just a little bit. Like texting a mate. The same time they text you. Huh. Like flipping pancakes with majestic grace. Or spotting that last parking space. Yes! With the added joy of knowing the money you donate helps to fund life-saving research. £1 to play, £1,000 to win every week. Search British Heart Foundation Weekly Lottery. See? It's a little bit exciting.
Gamble responsibly. Over 18s only. T's and C's apply. Please see our website for more details. British Heart Foundation is a registered charity.